Good morning, everybody. It is the day after I completed my Mary's Mini, and this Mary's Mini was a little bit challenging for me, only because of some decisions that I made and some outings that I had that I kind of took full advantage of. I ended up with a loss of almost 2 pounds. Like 0.2 of a point away from 2 pounds. So I'm going to claim the 2. Am I disappointed? No, not at all. I was very happy that I did not gain. I gained fast. I gained weight so fast. I could gain like 9-10 pounds in one meal. And I'm talking about a vegan meal, because whenever I get foolish, it's mostly on, it's still vegan food. It's just, but I was very careful. Even, I had a potluck that my group sponsored. I went out to eat twice, but I was very, very careful as much as possible. And then a few snacks last week. Overall, I'm very, very pleased. It would, if I would have been 100% compliant through Mary's Mini, however, I bet I could have lost about 6 or 7 pounds. I probably could have, but overall, I am okay. And see, that's the deal. If we give ourselves like beginning and ending points, boundaries, if we bind our program, whatever it is that we're doing, and then have these little breaks in between, it's very, very helpful to us to know that there's an end for this particular round. And so if a person finds him or herself right at day 3 or day 4, let's say, and you end up going off for a minute, please don't say to yourself, well, I broke the Mary's Mini, or I broke the maximum weight loss, or, I broke the program, so I'll start again tomorrow. But when you have that particular way of looking at it, then you're giving yourself permission to keep going off the strict plan for the rest of the day. And then sometimes that tomorrow is postponed for a few days, or maybe, I'll start when the majority of the group starts again. But if we look at this thing and say, you know what, we're in this until we hit the finish line. We're not going to start this thing and then, drop off in the middle of it. No, if you, get a little stumble in the road, you just keep going, because you are going to reach that particular end of where you set. Now, you're going to reach that end successfully, or you're going to reach that end not so successfully, or somewhat successfully, or extremely successfully. But regardless of what happens, as far as your results are concerned, you're still going to reach that end. Now, what your results are a direct correlation to what you're doing, how you're handling it, what choices you made over those 10 days or whatever the case is. So yeah, there are reactions to every action. That's the way it works. Cause and effect, that's the way it works. And then, own whatever it is that you're doing, but say to yourself, well, no, this doesn't end until Wednesday. Okay, 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, I wasn't as successful as I should have been. Okay, I'll probably eat again around 5. I'm going to be compliant. And then plan for it and call it and say it. Interact with yourself and make that happen. one pitfall that we find ourselves in sometimes is explaining it to people. You don't have to do that. If you mess up at 4 o'clock on Saturday, you don't have to tell anybody. I'm just mentioning this because, I'm living out loud and hoping to be an influence on some people who are going through some of the same things I'm going through. So that's something to always keep in mind. I hear people ask that a lot. I've seen it posted in groups. Well, man, I had a bad day yesterday. I had a bad day this morning. Should I just, quit and start again later or keep going? And the resounding response is keep going. Keep going, keep going. You're not done until the end. So just keep that in mind. It's whenever you're doing programs, it's always nice to set a beginning and an ending of that program. Some people can go these long periods of time with very, very strict programs. And that's good. There's certain kind of personalities can do that sort of thing. Some people, however, need a beginning and ending point. And if you have that beginning and ending point and you tell yourself you can't stop until you reach that ending point, and then give yourself the 2, 3, or 4 days. I usually do 4, unless it's a month that has 5 Mondays. Then it's like 11-day break. Then, it's just sometimes it's just, for me, it's easier to have that beginning and ending point. Even during that period of time where I really wasn't losing, I lost most of the time. It's just that I had huge gains. And a lot of it had to do with steroids, but I've not been sick. So I can't blame it on the steroids right now. Prednisone didn't do that to me. But I have been steadily successful. I'm like probably a solid 18 pounds now that I've lost from the beginning of the Mary's Minis that I've started. And I'm on round 5 right now. And that even includes some of the gains in between there. A couple of pounds here, a pound there, and so on. The majority of what's been happening to me, though, is that I've been losing. And that's what it is. It's not like a straight line as far as when you're graphing your weight loss. It's a jagged line, up, down, up, down, up, down, as long as the trajectory is all going in the right direction. And that's what I'm shooting for. All right, well, I had y'all know I went to my podiatrist to talk about my toe. And he gave me a few little, if you try this and see how this feels, and try that, see how that feels. I won't try riding the bike for another week. I did try walking around at school some yesterday without my boot, just to move the joint around, because the joint is fixed completely. It's just that the bone still has like a hairline thing all the way around it. But he said I can try, walking without it some. Wasn't a good idea. I put the boot back on. So I'll probably just give it the next couple of weeks, week to 2 weeks. Week to be able to try the gym again, 2 weeks while I'm walking around at school. I also had my yearly exam. And I with all of its inconveniences, I really like Kaiser. That's my healthcare provider. I like their program. I love the fact that they are strong proponents of plant-based nutrition. And so and the doctors know a lot about plant-based nutrition. They're really training their doctors, that's really cool to me, because my doctor knew a lot about it. I talked to her about what I'm doing with the Mary's Mini, and how things are going with me, what causes me to go off plan when I'm not supposed to be. And this is the weird part. I haven't been craving junk for the most part, I've been craving, you know, regular plant-based stuff like beans, fruit. You know, I've been craving stuff like that. So, you know, and I talked to her about all of that, and the response was this: what I am doing, the Mary's Mini, the way I'm doing it, it is a sound diet. She said that, you know, that sounds like it'll work. She did want me to get more fruit in my diet. I told her, well, the 4 days I'm off, I eat lots and lots of fruit. She said, well, that's fine. So she has no reservations about what I'm doing, but she did give me a piece of advice. She said that, because I talked to her about my regularity, right? And my regularity has changed a lot. You know, at the risk of getting a little too personal. You know, when I was following the maximum weight loss and that the variation of it that we do in the small weight loss group of mine, and you know, when on those things, you there are beans, you know, there are certain kinds of grains. I ate oatmeal just about every day. And so she asked me to tell her what were some of the things that I was having, what were some of the things, what am I doing now? And she did agree, however, that the Mary's Mini is a diet. She did agree with that. I talked about the premise with Mary McDougall. She understands it totally. She says, but do understand it is a diet. And we agreed on that. But she did say, because like I said, at the risk of getting too personal, before, you know, I would go to the restroom 3 to 4 times a day. And that was my normal. That was my normal, you know, and at least 3. If there was a time that I only had 2, then I wasn't myself. Now it's 1, period. Ever since I've been starting the Mary's Minis, it's 1. It's pretty regular, it's 1, but it's only 1. And then there's that weird feeling that you get sometimes that you wish, you know, you could, you know, get rid of some things more. So, you know, I talked to her about that, and she did say that, well, in order for you to get back to your regularity, you might want to, you know, include some of these other things sometimes instead of just doing a strict Mary's Mini. You know, do your own variation of it that will do for your brain what you need, you know, to happen. So I'll think about that. I'm still going to start my next Mary's Mini on Monday. I'm going to start my next one on Monday, and at that time it'll give me a chance to sit down and work something out for myself. And I'll probably like create a program that will help me through the remainder of my weight loss journey, because a lot of what she said made sense, and you know, you listen to your body and things like that. But I'll have 10 days to sort of figure this thing out, and I'm going to write something out for myself, and then so but it will be a variation. It will be a variation. I am going to add some more things back in after this next Mary's Mini. And then in the future, I may do another strict Mary's Mini for a week, for a round or 2. But I am going to go on and try to create a program that's better for my body as far as my regularity is concerned. And these weird cravings, because the sad thing is that you find yourself going off, and then you say, oh, well, I went off. So, hey, guys, it's almost 15 minutes now, and I don't want to get caught because I need to put this on here. So, listen, I will talk to you again probably on Sunday night before I start my new round. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.